I really wish that spring break wasn't already over.
What do you mean? Spring break is still going on.
No, it is not.
Yeah. Classes don't start until next week.
That's not true.
Hello, everyone, and welcome back to The Real Deal, Ball State's premier entertainment news show. I'm your host, Stephen J. Mason, still enjoying spring break.
And I'm Owen DeWeese, actually attending class.
What do you mean? There aren't any classes going on right now. It's spring break. We're breaking.
Like, it isn't, though. Like, you were just skipping all your classes.
Is that what all those emails were about? Is that what that is?
Yeah, probably. How many are you getting?
Just like, attendance and stuff?
Oh my God, Steven, you're just skipping class. What did you think was going on all week?
Spring break, optional classes during spring break, makeup stuff,
Makeup
office
stuff?
hours maybe?
Office hours? No. You need to start going to class. And maybe start reading your emails.
Why would I need to read my emails? If they needed to get in touch with me, they would spend smoke signals or something. I don't even read texts.
Yeah, clearly. You never respond to me.
Well, yeah. I respond to people I want to respond to.
So, does that just mean you don't want to text me? You never want to talk to me? Okay, let's see how it is.
Okay, yeah. Speaking of seeing how it is, let's see how Drew feels about this upcoming movie.
So I watched the new Batman movie. Well, actually, let me rephrase that. I saw the new Batman movie twice already. Usually I would watch a movie, and if I really liked it, I could come back to it in about half a year or so later. So this is breaking new grounds for me. The Batman takes place 2 or so years after Bruce Wayne decided to take on the masked vigilante as he begins to track down a series of murders that have riddles attached with each victim. The Batman, along with the likes of Officer Gordon, played by Jeffrey Wright, and even Selena Kyle, also known as Catwoman, who is played by Zoe Kravitz, work together to help solve these riddles and track down the Riddler, played by Paul Dano. The Batman must also uncover family secrets behind the Wayne family that will make Bruce question his trust and discover what real corruption is taking place in Gotham City. What I envisioned with the new Batman film was a very dark and gritty noir movie. I wanted a thriller, mystery kind of movie, and I definitely think that is exactly what we got here. What really makes this depiction of Batman stand out for me is that the setting, that being Gotham City, has never looked crappier. If any of you have played any of the Batman Arkham games will know that Gotham pretty much looks like the worst place ever to live in. And I think the director and the team behind the Batman did a really great job at showing a more realistic depiction of what Gotham is supposed to look like. Compare that to Christopher Nolan's The Dark Knight, where it quite literally looks like Batman and Joker are fighting in downtown Chicago. Robert Pattinson's depiction of the Batman and Bruce Wayne was definitely unique, to say the least. Usually when you think of Batman, or more specifically Bruce Wayne, you think of someone that is very confident, powerful, and well-known. This Bruce Wayne was very much standoffish and never wanted to be in the spotlight. When he went out to the dining area and put on that pair of shades because the very dim light alone was too much for him, I knew I found my new favorite Bruce Wayne. Pattinson almost made me forget that Bruce comes from wealth, as the mayor and many others around him all ask him to be more contributing since he comes from such a well-known family that is the Waynes, that are really wealthy. But besides him not constantly flexing his money, this film showed a much softer, more emotional side to the Batman. We see him contemplating if the city of Gotham is even worth saving, and questioning if he should even consider being the Batman anymore, since it seems like just about everyone is against him. All of this would make me think that this would be a rated R movie, as even the original trailer that came out for the Batman really set the tone, but it ended up being PG-13 instead. But overall, when it comes to the Batman, I can seriously make the statement that this might honestly be the best Batman movie we have ever gotten. Now, there are some that will say The Dark Knight is better, and that is definitely the other Batman that I think can make this case for being the best. But I think when it comes down to the Batman, the actual depiction of this character and the story he falls into is what I think makes this masked vigilante shine. But do this if you want to decide which is better, Take the Joker out of The Dark Knight and see which Batman story is better overall. That might be why I think The Batman might be an overall better film. Everything about this movie is wonderful, the acting, the writing. Have I mentioned the score for this is just beyond incredible? I loved everything about this movie, and I would definitely recommend it to everyone out there that has yet to see it. But that is all I have for you guys this week. I'm Drew Schuler, and don't mind me, I'm just going to be listening to Something in the Way by Nirvana for about the 200th time now. But I will catch you all in the next one.
Beautiful segment, Drew, as always. But back to this. Wait, now back to you not texting me.
I'm sorry.
Is this why you never accepted my follow request?
You sent me a follow request?
Yes, I sent you a follow request. It's right here. It's on Instagram, dude. You get a notification, see?
Huh.
And you're following the rest of the crew, too, so what's up with that?
Well, I follow people, I like.
Okay, well, I thought we were trying to be friends, you and me. I thought we were getting along well today.
We tried that before, and you see how that turned out.
Yeah, well, not very well. We just keep fighting.
Right. Moving on from this depressing subject, we have Jamie with what kind of weeb stuff she's got going about.
Look, I want to preface this by saying I'm sorry. I know I said there would be a break from me talking about anime. To be fair, I did talk about Uncharted the last time I was here, but we are getting so many anime movies this year, so don't blame me. Blame MAPPA and Crunchyroll. So, minor spoilers ahead and strap in, because this one's going to be a ride. As you may know from me talking about it before Christmas break, earlier this season, Jujutsu Kaisen released Jujutsu Kaisen 0 in Japan, and it premiered theatrically on Christmas Eve in 2021. And then in the United States, it premiered on March 18th, 2022. And this will be released throughout other regions in 2022 as well. The film, produced by MAPPA, the same company currently releasing the time skip art for Haiku, which is amazing, and distributed by Toho, follows Yuta Okotsu, a young student who becomes a sorcerer and seeks to control the cursed spirit of his childhood love, Rika Orimoto. Gojo finds Yuta after an incident involving the cursed Rika defending Yuta from bullies, and enrolls him in Jujutsu High. Once there, we get to see Maki, Panda, and Inumaki in their beginning years at the school. Of course, this all mirrors very similarly the beginning of the JJK animated series, where Gojo recruits Yuji Itadori. It seems that Gojo has a habit of pulling in and mentoring kids that the higher-ups just want to kill and get out of the way. While we don't see Itadori, Megami, or Nobara in the movie, as it is a prequel, we do get more backstory from Maki and Inumaki, and very heartfelt interactions between them and Yuta, which TikTok is currently taking and running with. We also get to see Suguro Geru and his descent into his role in the animated series. Geto was one of the most interesting parts of the movie for me. We see him briefly in the animated series, but don't really get a reason behind his actions, but this movie brings to light his motivations, which, surprise, aren't great. Geto sees humans in two parts. There are those that can use cursed energy and those that can't. He believes that those who can't are useless to the world and need to be eradicated, and he calls them monkeys, which is a whole thing to break down in itself. At one point, he's going on his little rant about how he believes the world should be, and my friend leans over to me and goes, "Oh, so he's racist." While we sat there and absolutely lost it in the theater, she wasn't wrong. That is blatantly what he is, which also makes his and Maki's interaction so much more impactful because she is a sorcerer without cursed energy. We also begin to get the backstory of Gojo and Geto as they move from best friends to being on two different sides of a war. All this to say, the movie's really good. MAPPA did a really great job with the animation as it was beautiful and the story was impactful and I really liked the characters and getting to know them. We get to see Maki open up and move through the world a little less guarded. We get to see Yuta find a family and make friends. We get more info on Inumaki and his abilities. And we get to dive into Gojo's character and his protectiveness of his students and the dissonance he has with the older generation running the university. While I'm personally not a Gojo girl, the more I see him fight for rights, the more I respect him as a character. Besides the story being focused on Yuta and his friends, they expanded the narrative from the original manga by adding new scenes focused on Gojo, and even added in Nanami, which based on the scenes Nanami was in, they were 100% fan service, and I'm okay with that. Straight up looked like a thirst TikTok edit. I digress. The pacing of the movie was also perfect. It felt like I was watching an episode, not a whole movie. When it was over, I could have stayed and watched another 3 hours of content surrounding that story because it was so captivating and well produced. There is a post-credit scene that seems to set up JJK Season 2, so make sure you stay through the credits to check it out. On its opening weekend, it opened with $5.8 million on Friday, including a $2.9 million from Thursday night preview screenings. The film went on to debut at an estimated $17.7 million opening weekend, finishing second behind The Batman. At the time of taping, this movie has an 8.4 on IMDb, which I think is a little low, and on Rotten Tomatoes, the tomato meter has it at 100%, with the audience score being 99. Now that's enough out of me. I could go on forever about this series, but I greatly recommend both the movie and its episodal counterpart, and even the manga if you want to get on the story. That's all for me this week. The next time I see you, I will try to not talk about anime, but with Attack on Titan coming to a close, I make no promises. Thanks for listening. I'm Jamie Howe.
What a surprise. Jamie talked about anime.
Well, she's always talking about anime. That's all she knows. That's her whole personality.
A total otaku.
That's, for those who don't know at home, that's a step above, or if you'd like to say it, below weep. How do you know that word? You like anime?
You know,
Stop that. Stop. Whatever internal monologue you've got going around in that chrome dome of yours,
I'm not bald.
I would appreciate if you would stop and answer the question.
Okay, well, you know, I don't have an internal monologue.
Well, yeah, L, if ever there was one.
Okay, so do you mind explaining to me, or does any of the producers, does anyone want to explain to me how we went from making fun of Jamie to attacking me?
Well, I mean, it always seems to end up like that. It's just really fun. You make it so easy.
Okay, well, I never would have agreed to do this if I knew that I was just going to be mocked every single week.
That's why we violate workers' rights. Unions don't mean anything.
The writers have total control of what I say. Absolute control. So now I have to say I'm a pee-pee-poo-poo man. And that's what I get for not going to writers' rooms. Kat, stop making me say this crap.
You signed the contract. Should have read the fine print. You know, you signed up for the draft. You can go to Ukraine any second.
Contract. Okay, so first of all, I signed a petition at Super Party at, the start of last semester. I didn't sign a contract. I'm not going to look for a lawyer, because that would be dumb. But, I'm going to go talk to the producers back there. So, next segment.
Over break, there was one thing and one thing only that I could not stop thinking about, Florence and the Machine. I'm sure lots of you may be familiar with the band's radio hits like Dog Days Are Over and Hunger, but unless you follow the group closely, you may have missed their recent and strange release of their 3 past singles over the past few weeks. On February 22nd, a series of cryptic clips, including a group of women seen unnaturally climbing up concrete steps and a close-up of the band's frontwoman Florence Welch, were posted on the band's Instagram with the caption, "Tomorrow, ... In addition, on the band's website, 15 tarot cards appeared, all backside up, except for the first one, which was labeled Chapter 1. Sure enough, the next day we got the surprise release of King, accompanied by a music video. The song starts off almost as a rock ballad in line with their 2015 release How Big, How Blue, How Beautiful, but soon evolves into an emotional feature of Florence's iconic vocals on top of a driving rock sound. Florence also uses electronic sounds in a subtle but definitely noticeable way, which is somewhat of a departure from their previous work. The song focuses on how Florence has had to navigate the music industry as a woman, and serves almost as a testament to her womanhood. The music video seems to tackle similar themes, showcasing Welch as some sort of being, leading the group of women I mentioned earlier in Celebration. I honestly can't summarize very well what happens in the music video, but give the video and the song both a chance, because they're both phenomenal and complement each other very well. I'm not exaggerating when I say that I exclusively listened to this song for 2 weeks straight after its release. With the surprise release of King, it was safe to say that all Florence fans were satisfied for a while. Surprise releases aren't really something that, to my knowledge, the band has really ever done, so we were kind of just happy to get one new single. Then a week or two later, on March 6th, the band announced the second single, Heaven Is Here, would be coming out the next day, again accompanied by a video. However, Heaven Is Here is wildly different than King, in that it seems more akin to their earliest album Lungs, with tribal beats and an emphasis on drums in tandem with choir sounds. The video shows Florence and the women from the King video performing some sort of ritual dance in line with the music itself. Interestingly, the song in the video is also less than 2 minutes long, which would be fine in context of an album, but as a single, kind of seems strange. Honestly, I wasn't disappointed with Heaven Is Here. I was just thrown off from the sharp departure from the sounds I had gotten used to with King. After the release of Heaven Is Here, however, I personally was on the lookout for the release of a third single, and I was not disappointed. Another song was teased on March 9th, again on Instagram, with the caption, Tomorrow. As such, My Love was released the next day with, of course, another music video. This video features Florence in an elegant gown interacting with what appear to be dinner show guests who are frozen in time, and much like the previous two videos, is accompanied by the same group of backup dancers. While the aesthetic of this video in particular reminds me a lot of the band's 2011 album Ceremonials, musically that's not the case. Of course, it features Florence's powerful vocals, but overlaid on top of a haunting electronic chorus, which soon evolves into an upbeat dance tune. This beat is incredibly different than anything we've really heard from the band as part of one of their albums, and honestly was really refreshing to hear. This is likely due in part to the band's collaboration with Dave Bailey, the lead singer and producer for another one of my favorite bands, Glass Animals, who uses a wildly different style than Florence and the Machine typically does. The tease of My Love on Instagram was also accompanied by the announcement that these singles were all from the band's 5th studio album, called Dance Fever. The band describes the album as a fairy tale in 14 songs. Now, obviously, I'm excited for the album, otherwise I wouldn't be talking about it. But truthfully, I'm a bit at a loss for what it'll sound like. As mentioned, all the songs are in some way reminiscent of the band's older work, but in a way that feels new and exciting. Even more so, it all feels like a complete departure from the 2018 release High as Hope, which was much more scaled back than their previous work. But between the rock feeling of King, the drum sounds of Heaven is Here, and the dance pop production of My Love, I'm left wondering what direction the album will take, and so I'm excited for the final release to see how all three are musically tied together in context. I'm also of the hopeful opinion that Dance Fever will be accompanied by a visual album. All three of the music videos that have come out have had similar visuals and motifs across them, and seem to be telling some sort of story, not to mention the fact that all three music videos were directed by Autumn de Wilde, who is the director of the critically acclaimed 2020 film Emma. The band is no stranger to visual albums, and given that Welsh in particular has said that this album was strongly inspired by dance, it seems likely that they would want to tell this fairy tale in a visual medium as well as through music. In short, I'm super excited to see what the release of Dance Fever will be like. It comes out on May 13th, so be sure to listen when it does.
All right, thanks, Drew. Next time, don't make your segment so long.
Oh, dude, come on, let him have this.
I mean, he doesn't have much, does he? I guess he can't have
Yeah,
this.
that doesn't really matter. You know, he's got some good opinions, so you should just let him be. You know, you just let him ramble, let him do his thing.
I mean, if Jamie can talk about whatever weeb stuff comes to mind, then I guess it's okay to Drew have his long segment. Fine, who am I?
Yeah, anything is better than anime. I agree with you.
Agreed. Anime is trash. Come on, Jamie, get it together.
Cat, come on, Jamie, and come on, Cat.
What did Cat do this time?
Something, I'm sure. They're always up to no good.
Yeah, complete creative control, Owen. We are in the hands of an angry god.
That's really kind of, that's weird, dude.
Yeah, too
You don't say
spooky?
that stuff in class, do you?
Too spooky for you, huh? Huh? You scared? Scared pee-pee poo-poo man?
Yeah, a little bit, yeah.
Okay, yeah.
You know what's even scarier than all that?
Yeah.
Whatever American Psycho stuff you were just talking about. Cat having control. That is scary.
Well,
You know,
that's not an issue because we've got our next segment right now.
Magdalene was one of my favorite albums of 2020. It technically came out at the end of 2019, but I argue that it saved my 2020. FKA Twigs solidified herself as one of my favorite artists with an incredibly emotional and powerful album about her relationship with Robert Pattinson. And I think Arbats is great, but it definitely makes me side-eye him a little bit more. After the release of Magdalene, I was excited for what Twigs will release next. She released a few singles here and there, but finally in late 2021 released Tears in the Club with The Weeknd, which I think is a fitting title and song for both artists, but it's a certified banger for sure. Then in January of 2020, she released Capri Songs, a mashup of pop, hip hop, hyper pop, and even astrology, and it is truly stellar or even cosmic. It's an incredible album. It's not as experimental as her other works, but I'd say that those elements of her previous works are still here in Capri Songs. Some of the standouts on the album include Ride the Dragon, Jealousy featuring Rema, Honda, which is one of my favorites featuring rapper Pa Solu, Oh My Love, and Tears in the Club. Obviously, the rest of the album is fantastic, but these are just some of my favorites. The album was released to positive reviews, including my own, but received an 80 out of 100 on Metacritic and a 4 out of 5 stars on NME, Evening Standard, and The Independent. Capri Songs has a ton of earworms, and the songs will be stuck in your head even after one listen. I can't go a single day without listening to it since it dropped. And even though Twigs' sound is a bit more mainstream than usual, it still has that emotional edge that we all know and love. And if you're not listening to Capri Songs or FKA Twigs at all, you are definitely missing out. And it's short and sweet for me this week. I'm Tiara Spells, and you should definitely be listening to Capri Songs.
Good job, whoever that was. This script must have been written before we knew that she was doing it. They were doing it.
You don't even know whose name that was? I mean, I don't either, but like, you see, this is why I don't follow you on Instagram. I don't follow anyone else.
Okay, it wasn't
but,
in the script yet. Kat's just trying to make me look bad. I know now who that was. That was Tiara.
I don't think Kat really needs to try to make you look bad. I think you just do it naturally. You're a professional at this.
Okay? What are you trying to say, man?
I'm just saying, if you're the villain, then you're also your own hero.
You think I'm the villain? You
Well-
think that I'm going through my villain arc? Why am I the villain? If anything, I'm the underdog hero that rises the ranks of whatever.
Well, maybe if the underdog was drinking from the toilet bowl at all points in the story, maybe that'd be true. But we've got our final word coming up.
Final word time. Thank you for handing it off to me, Steven. This is your first time. I think that was impressive. Since we got back from break, I've actually managed to find some time to play some video games. That's not something I usually have time to do. My most recent kick has been the game Yakuza 0, a prequel to the rest of the Yakuza games released in 2015 by Sega. To make a super long story short, you swap between two characters throughout the entire game. Both of them are like exiled members of the Japanese Yakuza that are working with the Yakuza so that they can not die and then save some people on the way. I don't know. It doesn't really make a whole lot of sense. You just have to play it. The whole story focuses on 1 3 square meter, and that's like 9 yards for every country that starts with the United States. It's a little tiny plot of land in an alley, and 3 different crime families in this clan are fighting over it so that they can make a bunch of money and then, rise the rank. It sounds pretty goofy, right? And that's because I'm bad at explaining convoluted imported video game plots. At least the game's pretty free roam with a lot of buildings to explore and at least 100 side missions that will net you a hefty profit, either in yen or in cool collectible items that you can sell or that'll buff you in fighting. Speaking of that, onto the action. The combat is really cool, like really unique. Think Mortal Kombat, but instead of sucking, side to side, you're able to freely move around within a room or a circle on the street. There are combos that drain your enemy's health super fast, and you can, of course, upgrade all this stuff for more power. The Yakuza is a pretty rough patch in history. Organized crime is not a joke. However, Sega did a great job of not glamorizing the criminal underworld in any of the Yakuza games. You really do get to see its flaws, and it's pretty historically accurate, so the story is pretty brutal and tear-jerking at times. There's a lot to check out here, but if you can, add it on your wish list on your preferred console or computer, because when it goes on sale, you really feel like you're screwing Sega out of money, and that's a great feeling. That's all I have for today, so on to Steven.
Thank you, Owen. This week, I want to spread awareness about my absolute least favorite streaming service, Discovery Plus. Discovery Plus has all the great TLC shows like 90 Day Fiancé, Toddlers and Tiaras, and even shows like Intervention, so you too can look down upon people and see yourself as not being too bad. I don't know if it's meant for the obsessed who watch these shows, but there's always something new and interesting on there for me to get suckered into. So far, I've been watching Breaking Amish. I stay up to date with the 1,000-Pound Sisters, and my new recent kick is Extreme Couponers. If you've never heard of this show, you're not missing out. It is where different people, oftentimes a middle-aged suburban mother, do this crazy amount of scheming and plotting and math in order to get upwards of $800 worth of groceries for sometimes as little as 70 cents. In some cases, they even get credit in store, meaning the store owes them money. Can you believe that? I can't.
That is
I
theft.
get absolutely ecstatic to watch these people check out. All of my favorite TV shows are showcased on Discovery Plus, and I truthfully am tired of being the only person who shares the passion over these streaming services. I highly do not recommend each and every one of you to look into signing up for yourself and trying to convince your mother to do exactly as the Extreme Coupon Mothers do. Anyways, that's all for me. Have a week. Great, bad, terrible, just have it.
Have a good week. As always, thank you for watching. If you want to see anything else from us here at The Real Deal, be sure to check us out on Facebook, Twitter, and our website for all things entertainment. I promise we're a lot more marketable than he makes us out to be. I'm Owen DeWeese.
And I'm Stephen J. Mason. Thanks for watching.